In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Jesus. Let me speak about what you want, please, no more, no less. The date is 6 a.m. It's 5:58 a.m. April 25, Saturday, 2020. Million Butoi. Well, first of all, what I wanted to say is I had a little dreams. After I spoke about, about 2 days ago, my last, about I reported 2 days ago another dream 2 days ago, which was the antichrist has shown to me. A little bit like this, short hair, like this, and his eyes on the satellites, and he was square, said more than me, was white, no blemish, and I started to realize with all these studies that I was doing that when I looked at him, I knew in my soul, I said Antichrist. So for me, it was at that time Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk has then I realized his biography. So, well, what he did in life, X.com became PayPal, which X is a mark of the beast spiritually. X marked the spots. So you see triple X, which is pornography, which is very bad. The World Wide Web, which the system of the mark of the beast, nobody will sell or trade, which is a system which can be as much as a tattoo or electronic. A tattoo if there's war, or electronic before. So just like we know there's many antichrist spirit, there's gonna be one final, but there's always one in the world, and it's usually the one that rules if he doesn't speak about God. Like back in the day, that's why church were important. You know, when somebody had something financial, it's not important, but just to say, I won't even say it. So to finish my thought was like, let's say somebody's alone today, is lost, no family, his thing goes to his nation, which is okay, but what kind of spirit is that? Back then was going to the church even better. So Elon Musk, X.com became PayPal. To not repeat myself, now he has SpaceX, another X. Now why I'm talking about him? Well, one of the vision I had after I spoke with him immediately is I was awake and I see him jumping on a motorcycle. I did the video, I didn't publish. He jumped, he put one mask like balaclava, and I think another one or something, and it's a hard hat. And he jumped on a motorcycle and he passed the wall, which through the wall. And I'm like, whoa, what is that? And I remember seeing a scene like this in a movie called Batman. Now, I say, okay, he's going to take shelter in case of the comets. Okay, at the end of the day, he's going in his bubble. I didn't think about this, but right now I'm saying it. So, you see, then I'm like, me, you know, I'm thinking about it. Was thinking about me, you know, back in the days when I did sell my soul and I turned back without wanting to praise the devil at all, not even one time. So I had a glimpse how it's going. I'm like, okay, me, you know, the spirit of Antichrist, Amoto, which is jump on a moto. I'm like, okay, moto, what God is trying to tell me here. And I searched Miyamoto, and that's got a guy of war, samurai, was a lonely guy. He was a ronin, which when your master gives you away or he dies, you know, it can be good or it can be bad. And they were alone, so he went, and apparently it's probably one of the, if not the most well known, because I hate to say the word well-known samurai in Japan. So this guy is Ronin. You search the movie Ronin, what the devil speaks about it, because he speaks in movies. Well, Ronin in that movie with Robert De Niro in the 90s, you know, there's, I think, car chase or something, and he's a ex-CIA. So I'm like, okay, that's how he got his money and all this. Now I want to talk against him because when I did the video, I didn't even mention Ronin. Well, I'm really mad, and I think I'm not the only one here. I think even Putin is mad. I'm seeing him saying, "Don't buy limousines from West." Is that this guy right now? As you know, for the last 5 days, people speak, which about I was doing those movies about him. He jumped a lot of Starlink satellite, and this started 2 years ago. And another vision about Putin, that I was outside in a meeting of leaders somewhere in the France, probably you. Putin on my left side, and on his right left side is General. Putin is about my 10 o'clock at 3-4 meters, and his General is at 2 meters right to his 9 o'clock. Now I look this guy, I see a dove of peace or something. I said swung. Maybe then I knew about comets back then. No, maybe comet swung. So he got real close by. It's gonna fly by, apparently close. And on the left, I always say that I didn't know what it was. It was like 3 balls, you know, going around like this. Then I'm like, maybe it's Comet Atlas, you know, or Comet Pan-Star. Then I searched Atlas recently. Greek mythology, he lifts the whole world. It looks like it's Comet Atlas. It broke in pieces, but as soon as I saw that, the general jumped up and he went to Putin. He's here. And I always say, and I said it, this was for, and now to people who don't know nothing about what I'm talking about, don't jump to conclusion, because a prophecy has many links. A prophecy, just like a word, is not just for one thing. We above and under the sky, we all a star. So you see even this Elon Musk, he rules the world right now. Yeah, I mean, he has the web, he has the stars now, competing in with NASA. Actually, he has right now his empire is on the internet, which is a system like the stars, and the stars. He's studying everything now. Like not only studying, he's putting his mark. That's from the spirit of Mammon, and I know he ain't get out with Satanists. You can see his girlfriend in Vancouver in the West. It's full. So where even myself, I sold my soul, but then I turned back and didn't do nothing with the devil. It was just on the spur of the moment, being desperate, and since God doesn't mean to have no money, sometimes it was just frustrated after 20 years, you know. And besides that, he jumped to go back the dream, and I put it back. You can see maybe in my story channel, and the guy comes in the video I posted before, and I'm like, Putin, I go because it was to spy. You see, this Starlink is spying. It is spying, and me, I'm so upset that and I'm gonna finish the dream after the general jump in Putin's here. And I went, I'm like, what, you gonna do like that stuff, you know, again for war? And he just didn't do nothing. I'm like, you're done. And I turned, and then was Gaddafi on sit on the table, and I was like this. There was somebody else facing very close to him. Gaddafi took his gun, shot the guy on my left. The guy on my left, he had traits. The other ones in line, they almost like phantom. Now I know there's nucleus, you know, a comet. There's between blue, whatever they call, and white, just like my background right now. And the whites are like dust. and the blues are ions, I think. And he shot one, and then he gave me the gun to shoot one, and I told myself, and when he shot, I'm like, how my shot was so fast, whatever that means. It's not hard to know. And then Gaddafi was the vengeance of God, because Gaddafi didn't took the arm for nuclear war, which eventually these arms has to go somewhere. And if there's a war, there's gonna be a ripple effect. If there's a comet, there's gonna be a ripple effect. So already you know that you shouldn't mess with that. Now, I'm Catholic myself, but when Jesus says something, nobody passed through God, least by me, is that they read that and they know in their conscience. So what I'm saying here is that God judge you with what you know. That's the Bible too says, the scriptures. If you know what to do and you don't, that's close to death, God told me. In other words, in the Bible it says, what did it says? It says like the one who knows what to do and didn't is gonna receive a lot of hits, a lot of blows compared to the other ones. That's why the poor people who cannot change, cannot speak, oftentimes they die and they will see heaven. But the people who had money and didn't do nothing, they were guilty. That's scriptural too. Even in the old prophets and Jewish tradition, and Jesus cited that one when he was preaching. So that's true, because somebody's down because of you, and all the people, whatever you know it or not, whatever you excuse yourself, you with laziness and sleepy in the soul because you like to eat, and you just say, I'm gonna go eat instead of 8 hours and taking care of your soul and know what's going around. You're just following and working much more for XY reason. Maybe you got a background, maybe your family got sick, but at this point I'm pretty sure you're a better person than just sleepy and being lazy and let the world being bad. And when you're gonna die, you're probably gonna be safe, probably, if you're not an enemy of God and deny Jesus if you heard about him. So in that spirit, Gaddafi give me that dream. Gaddafi give me the gun, and just to finish very quick, I had to shoot one, and I couldn't because I'm repented. So I give him back the gun, and also thought Gaddafi believes me, I could shoot him. He trusts me. I could shoot the one. I couldn't do it, and then I said Gaddafi, and I put gun back on the table, meaning I will take responsibility, can take one from me. So the point is, in the past I received another prophetic message that I put not in another platform that now I closed, because simply I didn't pay my phone and it went to Vant and I cannot log in. And the prophecy, after I did sold my soul, and I was just walking, I was cold, I was not hot, but I was fasting, and God said, and it was speaking those prophecies like Nostradamus, somebody that is speaking very dark and like in very parable, even when it's urgent. Anyways, and it says that Bismarck, which I never know what it was, Putias, which was a code for Putin, that because he didn't choose the mark of the beast, he will be declared a saint. He will be seen by his people to be a saint. And it was long. It was a quatrain. I can't remember. I don't even know if I can retrieve it in my files. But what is important here is that's all. And when he's gonna die, when his fire is gonna be light off or something. So I don't know if this is gonna be a reference or not. So I see Putin now is mad. When I say he's done very quick in that dream, doesn't really mean particularly. I don't know, because we know that I know since I didn't know then that he could have protected Muammar Gaddafi, which God called his son, even though if he was Muslim, because he didn't went for destruction. He was not a bad like many other rulers. So he was like a star for the rulers to show that, despite all his money he had, apparently I have $500 billion. Somebody told me that he was on the 10 list most people of all money of all time. So I was so surprised. And the guy didn't took the arms. He could have. He didn't took these arms and they kill him. So some people did. Some evil people did. So my point is this Elon Musk, these satellites, I myself, I remember in 2000, about 4, 3, when I read the Bible for the first time, and then I was fasting. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know church. Nobody brought me. I was even Orthodox, but I was not like I was born. Then many years later, when I returned after falling down to God, I did convert to Catholicism because of the Christian, and I'm in the West and everything. But it was mostly the history too. It was the first church before the big split East-West. Probably political behind. So anyways, it is. And what I'm saying is that one angel one time told me to, hey, look how beautiful it is, and I had problem with my eyes in the night sky when I was looking, and at the back and in the backyard. And I'm telling you, now after so many years now, I'm getting slowly back my health, and I'm looking at the sky. And what I see now, for first time, I'm looking at the sky and constellation, because God gave me those messages, not because I want it, of the comets. And I see those Elon Musk satellites. People, I'm telling you, you see it moving through the stars. It's so low. And he wants to put 60,000. I read someplace 60,000, 60 degrees, 6 things. It's like there was 6 anyways. I don't know if this is a countermeasure that somebody put even false data. So after people looked and they're like, that's not even true, and they stopped looking in. The final point is that this band star that I thought in the northwest, which is now in the west with Elon Musk, and those things like this round, and I couldn't know what it was after the swan or the dove of peace, is definitely this that can make World War III. Is those satellites are spying on you. And I know that now, even if Elon Musk with all his stuff was going, PayPal around the world, probably even in Russia and other place, I know that now some people start to realize that this thing now is for some few to spy, and it's gonna be there unless it's been taken down by force or not. This thing is such a threat that God showed me even Archie Mountbatten, he will go, and first he will give buying people stuff. Second, he will give money to buy a woman a clothing. So it will start to be more outside. First the food, and he was giving the food to people who own the store. So he didn't know really the deepness of it. Then he will go, and I see he was about 8 years old. But that's also 3 stages of his life. But I also always saw him in the same manner, and from east to west all the time, because now he's on the west. And that was before. Just when he was born, I was in Vancouver before they went to Vancouver. And he was black with a little afro, but that's symbolic. And so people who don't believe God, let them be blind. Now it's time for me to reveal it after a year, and I'm telling you, he has the choice to do it good or not. He's probably gonna see this video anyways. You can save it. And me, I'm not scared, because I'm looking for my eternity in the truth. They've killed prophets. And you know what? Also, I know revelation about me. Since I'm... Yeah, excuse me, I had to make some room. So, I had revelation about me. Let's skip that part. And I'm gonna tell you, these satellites are really bad. That's the mark of the beast. To go back to Archie Mountbatten, the second spot he gave to a woman, go buy yourself a dress, and she was loitering, like and with the back guy on his back, and she was a bit obese and the guy was skinny. So sex and food there. So when he's gonna be in the middle age, he's gonna start to deviate. First, okay, when you're young, you do good. You don't have to know exactly, unfortunately, because he's not brought to church. You see, when you do things, you even give glory to the truth or to the devil. There's not you're not stronger than the devil if you're evil, and you're not better than God if you're good. Okay, so hopefully you're with God. So when these parents they give the food and you don't hear about Jesus, who they give praise to? Themselves. And it's disgusting with all this crap they want. The ziggy zaggy, and I'm gonna stay clean here. I heard don't talk like this. So do not talk like this. So it is true. It comes devil, and I apologize for you. Rebuke the devil from them, and if you don't have the strength in Jesus' name. So I rebuke all these devils that I put with this song for you, the saying, and in Jesus' name, be holy. So here's the point, if you can. And the third point, he went to an apartment, was almost empty. People were really down, and older age. They were all black people who give. Second were black. The first were almost Indian in the store, and the third one they were black. And he went and he said, "Here, go buy yourself a radio." And I'm like, "How much is a radio?" You know. So radio today, you can buy a radio for $1. Nobody has in radio, but radio is that. We know. I didn't know back then. It's the internet, radio frequency. Other people have seen the system of the mark of the beast to be in a box, and this is it. It's like a modem. You see those 5Gs right now with those satellites, why they can spy on you? It's because 2Gs, 3Gs, and 4Gs, no, or excuse me, 4Gs is, somebody told me that put on the towers and video online, is that it's circular. But 2, 3, and 5Gs is straight. And now with this 5G, that's why these satellite, they need more satellite. Of course, Elon Musk says, "Oh, it's for cheaper." We don't need that cheaper, man. We don't need that cheaper. It's not expensive. What do you want? You want to control. He's not inspired by Jesus. He's not inspired. He's not a priest. It's not inspired by God. It's inspired by the monopoly, the mammon. And the point is that now in the East, you've seen the rockets was lands in Iran first time, and God told me about this. And the point is that now, if Russia was hiding this, now Russia see those satellite, and now they're behind because they're spy too, and now they don't like it. And I'm pretty sure that in a humanitarian way, even though Putin is not a priest, he's trying to still do a little bit of good, I guess, with God, and compared to the communists before, for sure, but it was already moving that way before him. And I know there's some alliance and all this, they talk, and through a little clique called Freemasonry. But what I'm point is that now they kind of left behind, and I hope what he sees to what's happening to us here in the West, it's evil on the long term. And now they, you cannot see them, but in the sky, if you go, you're gonna see them moving between stars like this, little dots. And those are, and if you look at the back there again, it's like you can search it online. It's called Starlink, and that's the mark of the system of the beast, man, because it can spy on you, just like the dream I had. It can literally spy on you. It spies on you. It's so low. It's direct with 5Gs. It spies on you. It's spying on me right now. It's completely disgusting. It can catch you. It can not catch you, but anything you're doing. It's very disgusting. Never mind the cell phone. Even when they down, they have those. They can. It's even when you accept that they can hear, even when your phone is closed. The point is, this one is like having you everywhere now, and very, very disgusting, disturbing. I'm gonna skip the point of other supernatural stuff. This, I personally, in my mind, like sometimes you have to speak, otherwise the devil takes more time. I wanted to make a video about this satellites, whatever, the antichrist, the final one, which one's gonna be. All I know is that Jesus told me 2 3 weeks ago, because people didn't do penance and we eat, and he even positioned my belly, and I did too, almost, if I was almost one of the last, not the last, but he told me he went out of the church. I mean, not the last, I apologize for this, but that's what it means, because what he's saying to one, he says to all. When he says to and me, what we represent us is we represent the church. We have to stay together, and that's it. These people, when they, whatever the job they were before, if they didn't let for Christ, they have to try to help for God and be in Jesus' team, not for mammon, not for power, money, and all that stuff, because that's the devil. And what Jesus said, you know, eventually I'm gonna come before, because the world's gonna be destroyed unless nobody's safe. Because mammon and the devil, he says, how can the empire of the devil stands when he's against himself? So now the West doing that. Other people who knows better, and for good reason, is like, whoa, that's evil, man. uh, because if you spy on that people, then what people's gonna do? You understand? You cannot go and preach God, even if it's the truth. You're just gonna go, and at one time there's not gonna be preach outside in the street, because it spies on you. It's gonna take that freedom, and people will just gonna go work and work for that system. And that's what the Bible says. It says whoever, the false prophet, is gonna bring that system and work for that system. Well, that system was born with World Wide Web 666 www. It was born, it was promoting 666 movies. That's another sign. The signs are there. When the big storm comes, there is wind, there's dark clouds. Jesus spoke about this. So it doesn't come like this, there is signs. So unfortunately, people who always talk against the truth or something, they're so sleepy and blind, they're like, they don't see no signs. So they're like, oh, come on, that's too, well, they're so tired. But when it's because they only think about maybe a big hot chocolate cake and crap like this, and then they wake up, because that's how they run on. So okay, I was talking about this, and finally I had another dream like 2 days ago, and I stopped because I spoke about where the body are of the constellation Interstellar. I said that's where the body are with two pillars, which is, when you look where I am, it's a theater called Centaur, in North America, in the same city I am, and or I was last week, Montreal, and I'm telling you, uh, and I said it's concrete, and it was behind in that dream. There's are the bodies, and some people apparently found, but also I put a movies that they were watching over my shoulder and trying to take my plans, and I just went ahead, and I don't know if God trying to do something, even maybe the devil trying, because I start to realize, when I stop 2 days, 2 days, it's always good to take a break. 2 days when you get a dream, I believe. Sometimes it was emergency. Even Jesus slept 2 days. It takes you time to think and relax. The devil pushes, but eventually maybe to a fell out. But I'm telling you, me, I gotta be a priest. And these days, I don't know I'm gonna do it, but this is it. And I'm telling you, all this is happening because they push the real Pope. It's happening because this Saint Gallen mafia, or all the people that are sleepy in the faith and not doing their jobs, like bad Freemasons, popes, and to the lawless priest. All these people who are complacent and don't say when something wants to go forward, they just keep their mouth shut. These are the ones that are having an effect on the world, much more than people think. Sometimes much more. The Pope having much more effect in the world while, because we're talking about calumnies here. We're talking about Jesus who said, the gates of hell will not prevent my church. That means that when the church was pure, there was safety. It was going good. But when the church goes down, it is down. And just what happens to Jesus' life, the church is going through. Now Jesus was lied. He said when they choose, they didn't choose Jesus, they choose the stealer, Barabbas. Now they put the Pope Benedict, whatever he was inherited, bad or not, whatever when he lived, sometimes you change, but he changed from modernist to tradition, which was closer to God and the truth. Now all this, we're saying that the church is not the church of this world, but we are the church of God. But what they're doing now, they say, oh, we gotta advance even this big fat Pope, man. And I'm not condemning good Christians that are now are fat, because they probably gonna go lower. Even they say Peter, but kill and eat. Some people were fat and repented and they die in Christ. But I'm telling you, if tribulation comes, everybody's gonna lose weight. But what I'm saying is, he's Pope, and I don't see him fasting. He's larger than before he got this. But point of less, to a more serious important. And sometimes you can even look at the popes, if they were good or not, like this. This is a pure travesty. Antipope Borgoglio, I'm not gonna even use the good holy name of the saint, who was so humble that he was not even a priest, and you took that name as a pope. Man, you're phony, and I don't like you. And you're, whatever the world is going through right now, it's because of you. You took that position. And to I won't even say to what instance you knew that who puts those, who manipulates and put away the Pope that said I had no more energy, because that's normal when you're trying to do good, trying to be hot for God, and all you have, your circle by 60 or so many percent of evil. One time you cannot no more, nevertheless his age and everything. Okay, you have to speak against, but when it's too much, you just can't no more. So let them be ensnared. Let them be ensnared, like the psalm said, and fall in their own trap. And look at him. You're scared. You know what's gonna happen to you. You're a false prophet right now. Popes should be prophets, because they're prophets in the church, and they're even in the woods prophets. What about you? You took that position. You're not a prophet. You speak even against the Virgin Mary, which even your own church says that she's above all. So you're telling me that when Jesus appears, that she doesn't at a big place like Medjugorje, which is probably one of the great longest apparition in the whole world, I think. And you're gonna tell me that the devil, never mind that saying that the devil could try to apparate, no, not that glory. The God will not stain the immaculate. And even if you think like, let's be prudent, not the longest one that will be taking the glory of God. Just like if you say that the gospel was manipulated, and you speak like a sinner, like a Mohammedan too, blind, that says, oh, look at the Bible's been manipulated. But you're not taking glory of God if you say that Jesus is a prophet and the book didn't come clean. So you're contradicting yourself. If the world will be put back Benedict 16 or another real pope, and Benedict 16, I'm telling you, the asters will spare you, but if not, the comets will come down. I'm telling you. And all I can do to not be so sad is to know that we have to go through this for Jesus to come. But who to them that from them comes the downfall of humanity? And you know who you are. And you shouldn't be You shouldn't be doing that. Don't be scared about comets for people who do that. You should be scared about God that controls everything and all the galaxies and all the souls. That's what you should be scared of, the real hell that's happening. And you, some people that went to priesthood just for being lazy and touching children and not even believe, you, I would take you out in a instant if I was Pope. I would pray and know and smell you. I would ask you to prove yourself what you have done. What a shame, man. Because of you, the whole world is going down. You are called to show and heal the world. Oh yeah, as 2 days ago, I didn't publish. There was something new that you guys don't know, and I didn't. I'm talking about in the sky, and I'm not interested. Nobody supported my missions and nothing, so I'm even gonna stay like this. But the most important, I'm telling you, two things: put back the Pope if you could. If not, at least take down that little one, that fake one, and that is doing everything now, is torturing people and the whole world through the church because he took that position. Pope Francis, you're the desolation. You're the abomination of desolation. Just like there's many antichrists, there's many abomination of desolation. You've seen it. He took that position and he went out in the history too. When there was a fake pope, there was the corruption and stuff like this. And I don't even have to look. I know there was things like this happening to restore the church and the world from, because it was going to a worse destruction. God's so good that he was letting this happen. But one time, this abuse of people who have power and stuff to do around the world, this abuse is gonna finish. And I'm telling you, it's on its way. It's on its way right now. But you should not be more afraid if it's on its way, but where your soul is at that time. Pope Francis, Antipope Francis, resign, be a man, put back Pope Benedict, and clean all the bad people around him, and say, no, there's a cleanup to do, come back, and that's it. And you're saved. Why don't you would do that? Because people, if you don't believe me, go see the prophecy of Catherine Emmerich that Mel Gibson used her vision and dreams to make that Passion of Christ a movie. Two popes prophecy. He's in jail. He cannot go nowhere, cannot do anything. Imagine being him, praying, and that's it. He's a pope in jail. Shame on you. And the Starlink that are spying on you, which is the mark of the beast. And it's gonna bring, oh yeah, an Archie Mountbatten at the third one. How much is a radio? Go buy yourself a radio, $100. And that radio, it's like the false prophet bringing the system of the devil, which is with the Starlink and with all this internet, the radio, whatever. It's gonna go to 6G or 5G. I don't know at this time, and I didn't ask God, and didn't study enough for that. One more thing. When I was young and wanted to write, even though I didn't know God, one time I was on my desk writing, and after waiting to write something good and thinking, came sometimes just a sentence, some truth. It was maybe 17. I came to almost a dead end, but with 100% surety that when I'm gonna die, it's gonna be the end of the world. And I stood up and I took a gasp and I walked around after that revelation, just like when I saw God and I've been shown my life, that I didn't took the high spot, and then beep, I was in a square, everything was moving in all shapes and squares and shapes and L's, up and down. That's the world, the professional world. and I was almost at the bottom left, and on the top right, you see that's like religion, or left without the religion, almost and almost down proletariat, no money. I heard to not say proletariat. And this guy, I was being shown that he felt on the top, almost on the top, very close by. And because I've seen it, I knew I could go, and I didn't. And I heard meh, 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 and I woke up, and I was young, maybe between 5 and 8 years old, because I remember the place where I stayed when this happened. And then I saw God, and I'm telling you, if anything happens to me, I just said it. And if something puts trying to put me somewhere and hiding, like you did to that Pope, anything that takes to not anything, but I will pray God. And I'm telling you, I've been shown today, after staying quiet, the whole universe, and I felt like it was given to me. And even me, I cannot ask no more the mercy of God. I'm fed up of this world. It's been a long time. I cannot ask the mercy of God no more. Maybe if I was a priest, I could, because people help you out. But since I see no help, I've tried. I shouldn't have doing this full time since a year here. I tried to help God. I tried to help some people that were saying that they were trying to help God, like Trump, but God told me he's not a priest. And people like this, at least against people who are more intentional, not more, but more wrong, and trying to elevate some thoughts about people and prove of God, and that job is done. And personally, I hope this video is my last, but I don't know. I'm gonna start more praying, and maybe make I even thought about videos of prayers. But the world is not going good. Don't believe the lies they say it's gonna be good with this virus even and more. These are just signs, comets will be there, war's gonna be there, and that's because Jesus people don't lift up the truth in Jesus. They put him aside, and that's the stumbling block. And people who should put it back a little bit at least, or slow down the downfall like a real pope, they put that pope aside. The satanic sarag that is doing that to you. I say satanic sarag because that's what came to my dream, but that satanic people that doing this to you. A sarag is like a possum, right? And it goes in a bubble to protect itself, and it doesn't move really, right? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm telling you, you gotta move in life. You gotta move the church. If you hear this and you want to do good, do what you can. Talk about Benedict XVI, the real Pope. Talk about how they spy with the Starlink, because it's just gonna get worse. And talk about, preach about God, instruct people about these things, these two important things which concern the church and the freedom of people, and the lies that are given to you. And those two matters, for me, they're the most two important. And that, yeah, the sky is gonna be shaking soon, and you shall see a second moon and the cross of Jesus on top at one point, and the great event, the illumination of conscience, and you're gonna feel that. Never believe what scientifics will tell you about where that planet and comes and all this. This is just whatever explanations for those people, truth or not, to always want to know explanation without wanting to know the source, which is God. It's like some astronomers who will study why, but don't even know about God. You should have known about God before. much before, and if not, it was all the thing that she needed. Thank you. I'm signing off. Million. Butoi.